Welcome to the Slow Listening podcast series, the show where we train your ears step by step.
I'm Martin.
And I'm Peter.
Today we're doing Christmas idioms in a funny, festive dialogue.
We'll explain every idiom, test each other, and end with a short Christmas story. And Martin, please don't be a Scrooge.
Welcome back, friends. Before we continue, let me ask you something simple. Have you ever listened to a podcast and thought, I'll just listen for a minute, and then suddenly it's over? That's exactly what we want today. If you stay until the end of this episode, 3 things will happen. First, you'll understand Christmas idioms, not as vocabulary, but as real emotional language. Second, you'll hear a personal Christmas story that many people quietly relate to, even if they don't talk about it. And third, you'll walk away with expressions you can actually use in conversations, exams, and real life.
And I promise this is not just another list of idioms. It's about how language connects to memory, emotion, and real moments.
Also, quick reminder before we go deeper, the full explained list of idioms with examples, notes, and usage tips will be on our Patreon page. In the description, you'll find the link. On Patreon, you'll get the full transcription, a clean vocabulary list, and extra learning material to practice calmly. Now, Peter, earlier we joked a lot. We talked about food comas and shopping till you drop. But Christmas is not only jokes and lights, right?
No, not at all. For many people, Christmas is emotional. Sometimes warm, sometimes heavy, sometimes both.
Would you be okay sharing something more personal?
Yes, and friends, I'm sharing this because language is strongest when it's honest. A few years ago, I remember one Christmas very clearly. I had just finished a difficult year. Work-wise, I was completely snowed under, and emotionally, I felt the same. Everyone around me was talking about parties, gifts, and being excited, but inside, I felt a bit disconnected. I still told people I'd be there with bells on. That's what we do sometimes, isn't it? We show enthusiasm even when we're tired. On Christmas Eve, I went to my parents' house. The place was already decked out, lights everywhere, the table prepared. My mother kept saying, "Come on, don't be a Scrooge," because I was quiet. She wasn't angry, just worried. We sat down to eat. Like always, too much food. We ate, drank, and were merry, at least on the surface. I definitely pigged out, and 10 minutes later, I was stuffed like a turkey. Then came the famous food coma, everyone half asleep on the sofa. From the outside, it looked like a perfect Christmas. But the proof, as they say, was in the pudding. At some point, my father gave me a small gift. Very small. I remember thinking, that's it. But then I stopped myself. I literally said out loud, "Well, don't look a gift horse in the mouth." Everyone laughed. Inside the box, there was nothing expensive. It definitely didn't cost a pretty penny. And he didn't splash out. It was just an old photo, a photo of us from many years ago. He looked at me and said, Good things come in small packages. That hit me harder than any expensive gift ever could. In that moment, I really understood. It's the thought that counts, not as a phrase, as a truth. Later that night, I went outside for some air. It started snowing. Not a movie-style storm, but enough to say, wow, maybe this is a white Christmas. I stood there quietly, thinking about the year. I realized that all my stress, my worries, my tiredness, they were just the tip of the iceberg. Underneath, what really mattered was connection. When I came back in, my mother noticed I was calmer. She smiled and said, "There you are. No big speech, no pressure." That night reminded me that Christmas really does come but once a year, not as an excuse to spend or overdo things, but as a pause, a moment to stop walking on thin ice with ourselves all the time. Since then, I try not to cancel my own Christmas by overthinking everything. I try not to give people the cold shoulder when I'm stressed. And I remind myself that sometimes slowing down is not weakness. That's why this podcast exists. Wow.
Thank you for sharing that. I think many people listening felt something there. What I love about your story is that you didn't teach idioms, you lived them. You naturally use things like snowed under, eat, drink, and be merry, stuffed like a turkey, the proof is in the pudding, good things come in small packages, and it's the thought that counts. And they didn't sound like vocabulary, they sounded like life. That's exactly the point, friends. Idioms are emotional shortcuts. They carry memory, culture, and feeling. If you remember Peter's story, you'll remember these expressions without effort.
Remember, if you want the full explained list, clean examples, and extra practice, the Patreon link is in the description. And now, we're going to go over some very common and useful idioms and expressions related to Christmas. We'll start with a quick review, and then, at the end, you'll hear them again in context through a short dialogue.
The slow listening approach to language never forgets that language is a living thing.
During the Christmas period, people use particular expressions and a specific kind of language.
What better moment to revisit that language than now? Part 1. Meanings and quick tests. Christmas comes but once a year.
Meaning, a friendly excuse to overindulge or relax because the occasion is rare.
So if I eat a fourth cookie, I can say it and sound philosophical.
Exactly.
The more the merrier.
Meaning, the more people who join, the more fun it is.
To be there with bells on.
Meaning, you arrive full of enthusiasm.
Lit up like a Christmas tree.
Meaning 1, very bright clothes. Meaning 2, very drunk.
Deck the halls.
Meaning, decorate for Christmas.
Don't be a Scrooge.
Meaning, don't be grumpy, stingy, or anti-celebration.
If I say I hate Christmas music, what do you say?
I say, don't be a Scrooge, and turn the volume up.
Stuffed like a turkey.
meaning extremely full after eating,
Eat, drink, and be merry.
meaning enjoy the moment without worrying,
To pig out.
meaning eat too much, very casual,
Food coma.
meaning the sleepy feeling after a heavy meal.
Give me an exam-style sentence with eat, drink, and be merry.
During the holidays, people gather to eat, drink, and be merry, strengthening social bonds,
The proof is in the pudding.
meaning you judge something only after you try it,
To go cold turkey.
meaning stop a habit suddenly and completely,
Shop till you drop.
meaning shop until exhaustion,
To splash out on something.
meaning spend a lot freely,
Cost a pretty penny.
meaning very expensive,
Break the bank.
meaning cost more than you can afford,
Stocking stuffer.
meaning a small, inexpensive gift,
It's the thought that counts.
meaning intention matters more than perfection,
Don't look a gift horse in the mouth.
meaning don't criticize a gift,
Good things come in small packages.
meaning size doesn't equal value,
To give someone the cold shoulder.
meaning intentionally ignore someone,
A white Christmas.
meaning Christmas Day with snow,
To be snowed under.
meaning overwhelmed with work,
Break the ice.
meaning reduce social tension,
Walking on thin ice.
meaning being in a risky situation,
Tip of the iceberg.
meaning a small visible part of a bigger problem,
Like turkeys voting for Christmas.
meaning supporting something that harms you,
Cancel someone's Christmas.
meaning completely ruin someone's day.
Part 2. Fast practice and a short Christmas story. If I invite extra guests, what do I say?
The more the merrier.
If I stop sugar suddenly,
I go cold turkey.
you ate too much. I'm stuffed like a turkey. Office party scene. I walk in wearing blinking lights.
You're lit up like a Christmas tree.
I tell a joke to break the ice. My boss asks about deadlines. I say I'm snowed under.
Shopping scene.
I want nice gifts, but not break the bank.
Choose thoughtful stocking stuffers.
Family dinner. We eat, drink, and be merry. Then we pig out and fall into a food coma. Short Christmas story. On Christmas Eve, Martin was snowed under with work and shopping.
He repeated, Christmas comes but once a year to stay calm.
Peter arrived and said he'd be there with bells on.
Soon the house was full, because the more the merrier.
They decked the halls while someone danced on a chair.
I warned him he was walking on thin ice.
Dinner followed. They ate, drank, and were merry.
Martin pigged out and announced he was stuffed like a turkey.
Gifts appeared. Small boxes, big smiles.
Good things come in small packages.
Snow began to fall. Someone whispered, "A white Christmas." A neighbor arrived grumpy.
I said, don't be a Scrooge, and invited him in.
At midnight, Martin joked about quitting sugar cold turkey.
I said, The proof is in the pudding.
The night ended warm, loud, and joyful. Friends, before we say goodbye, we just want to say thank you. This podcast was born in the summer of 2025. At that time, it was just an idea and a lot of hope.
What we didn't fully imagine was how warm, kind, and supportive you would be. Since then, your comments, messages, and encouragement have been what keep us going.
You are not just listeners, you are friends who walk this learning journey with us. And that really matters to us.
Every kind message, every shared story, every small word of support reminds us why we do this. Learning a language takes time, patience, and courage, and doing it together makes it lighter and more meaningful.
So from all of us here, thank you for being part of this. Thank you for listening slowly, learning deeply, and staying curious. And most of all, thank you for being here with us.
We wish you and your loved ones a very Merry Christmas.
We hope these days bring you warmth, calm moments, and real connection. Merry Christmas, friends.